Yautja. The Yautja, commonly known as predators, are a fictional extraterrestrial humanoid species originating from the planet Yautja Prime. They feature reptilian skin, arthropod-like mandibles, long dreadlock-like head tendrils, superhuman strength, resilience to injury and radiation, and infrared vision, often enhanced via advanced biohelmets. They are a highly sapient, spacefaring, tribal race with lifespans potentially exceeding a millennium. Their culture is built around ritual hunting of dangerous prey, especially humans and xenomorphs, both for sport and honor. Trophies taken from hunts reflect status, alongside a strict honor code that forbids attacking unarmed, pregnant, elderly, or sick individuals, mandates ritual suicide or self-destruct after a dishonorable defeat, and forbids claiming another's trophy. Society is organized into hierarchical ranks: unblooded, young blood, blooded, elites, leaders, elders, ancients, matriarchs, with governance overseen by a council of ancients determining clan hunting grounds and enforcing laws. Their religious beliefs are polytheistic, worshipping warlike gods such as Setanu or Paya, and embracing rituals tied to honor, battle, and hunting. Technologically, Yautja blends ornate tribal aesthetics with sophisticated systems: interstellar spacecraft, active camouflage, plasma weaponry, wrist blades, energy spears, all designed for lethal efficiency, though they favor primitive arms for their perceived honor. They have interacted with Earth for millennia, influencing ancient civilizations like the Egyptians, Aztecs, Khmer, and Mayans, teaching pyramid building and occasionally enlisting humans in xenomorph blooding rituals, while also periodically hunting humans across historical eras. A variant known as Hishquiten may constitute a distinct subspecies, notable for traits like a kill gland and gender fluidity. The Yautja are honor-bound, technologically advanced hunters whose complex cultural, spiritual, and societal structures revolve around the ritual of the hunt. The Thing. The Thing is an extraterrestrial, parasitic, shape-shifting organism that serves as the titular alien antagonist in John W. Campbell's 1938 novella Who Goes There, the 1951 film The Thing from Another World, John Carpenter's remake in 1982, its 2011 prequel, video games, and expanded media. It is a highly hostile life form capable of assimilating and perfectly imitating any living creature, animals or humans, by absorbing and cloning their cellular structure, behavior, memories, even defects. Notably, any detached part of its body remains a living entity, able to operate independently. Its original form and origin have been obscured by its ability to raid countless species, though canon places its arrival on Earth via a crashed spaceship buried in Antarctic ice. After thawing, it infiltrates research stations, triggering paranoia as survivors struggle to identify who is human and who is the Thing. Among its weaknesses are intense heat, particularly fire, and possibly molecular acid. It is otherwise nearly indestructible and capable of cryogenic stasis within ice. The Thing often employs grotesque transformations: tentacles, multi-limbed creatures, disembodied heads, and insectoid limbs to attack prey and replicate itself. In the climax of Carpenter's 1982 film, the creature is revealed to be building a nuclear-powered anti-gravity device, hinting at intelligence and a plan to escape Earth. Across adaptations, the Thing symbolizes invasive existential threats and Cold War-era paranoia, underscored by its ability to sow distrust and mimic humanity to horrific effect. Brightburn. Brightburn is the name given to an extraterrestrial sent to Earth in 2006 who lands near Brightburn, Kansas, inside a spaceship pod, and is adopted by Tori and Kyle Breyer under the name Brandon Breyer. His true origins remain mysterious. His birth name and homeworld are unknown, but his species is portrayed as a hostile, imperialistic alien race that sends infant operatives to infiltrate planets, genetically modified to appear human until reaching an activation age when a ship-embedded computer awakens their mission to take the world. Members of this species exhibit extraordinary physical and mental abilities, including super strength, super speed, invulnerability, flight, heat vision, and many more. Brandon grows up seemingly normal, smart but socially awkward. Around puberty, his powers emerge. He effortlessly bends metal, lifts heavy machinery, and walks through a lawnmower blade unharmed.
When he investigates his spaceship, the onboard computer signals him to take the world, triggering a dark transformation. He begins stalking a classmate, crushes her hand, murders her mother and uncle, then brutally kills his adoptive parents after they attempt to stop him. He also destroys a passenger plane to conceal his rampage, ultimately revealing himself to the world as Brightburn. Brandon's personality shifts from a quiet, prodigious child into a psychopathic megalomaniac with a god complex. He believes humans are inherently evil, though he commits atrocities by choice, showing no remorse. Brightburn is a superpowered alien sleeper operative turned malevolent conqueror, embodying his race's mission to dominate Earth, armed with devastating abilities and driven by an alien command to take the world. Clover. The Clover, also known as the Cloverfield monster, is the central antagonist of the 2008 found-footage sci-fi horror film Cloverfield and makes a brief appearance in the Cloverfield paradox. In the film, this colossal creature, roughly 350 feet tall, emerges from the Atlantic Ocean after centuries of hibernation beneath the seabed. It awakens when a falling satellite dish disrupts its slumber and rapidly grows by consuming a mysterious substance referred to as Slusho seabed nectar, a plot element tied to the Slusho viral marketing campaign. The Clover rampages through New York City alongside its parasitic offspring, destroying landmarks and resisting military counterattacks until the Hammer Down protocol mistakenly obliterates much of the city. Although originally presented as an Earth-native kaiju, later entries in the franchise and expanded lore suggest an extra-dimensional origin. The Cloverfield paradox reveals that a particle accelerator accident in 2018 accidentally opens portals between parallel universes, allowing adult Cloverfield-type creatures to cross into this reality. While the Clover species' taxonomy remains ambiguous, it has been labeled an alien, sea monster, or dimensional intruder, but its design reflects separation anxiety, conceived by Neville Page and J.J. Abrams to evoke sympathy even as it attacks. The Clover species has since become emblematic of the Cloververse anthology, massive, enigmatic beings tied to mysterious corporate or scientific catalysts representing unknowable threats lurking beneath or beyond our world. Death Angel. Death Angel, sometimes called Listener by survivors, is the primary antagonist of the A Quiet Place universe. These creatures are extraterrestrial predators that arrived on Earth via a meteor shower, surviving the fall encased in asteroid fragments due to their nearly impenetrable chitinous armor. Their homeworld was a dark, high-gravity planet without light, so they evolved to navigate and hunt using echolocation and highly sensitive hearing, compensating for their lack of vision. Once on Earth, they unleashed devastation, running over 300 miles per hour, crushing metal, flipping cars, tearing flesh with claws and teeth, and annihilating virtually all life that made any noise. Their arrival triggered society's collapse, pushing humans into near silence to avoid detection. In design, Death Angels are emaciated humanoid creatures covered in overlapping armored plates, blind but ultrasound sensitive, capable of causing electronics to flicker. They possess superhuman speed, strength, agility, stamina, reflexes, and wall-crawling ability, along with resistance to extreme temperatures and explosives due to their evolved physiology. Their weaknesses are their inability to swim as their heavy bodies drown, and vulnerability to high-frequency audio signals that force open sensory plates, exposing soft tissue that can be damaged. Their overarching goal is genocidal. They target any noise, aiming to wipe out humanity, collapse society, harvest resources, and build a new silent world under the leadership of a presumed queen variant.
Jean Jacket. Jean Jacket, scientifically named Oculonimbus aedoaquus, is the main antagonist in Jordan Peele's 2022 sci-fi western horror film Nope. Unlike classic gray-skinned aliens, it appears as a gigantic airborne creature that uses shape-shifting to mimic a classic UFO and hide in clouds, luring humans and animals closer so it can devour them whole. In its natural form, Jean Jacket resembles an enormous jellyfish with a single square-shaped eye shielded by hundreds of hypnotic green ribbon-like eyelashes that attract prey. Measuring roughly 110 meters across and 20 meters thick, its UFO guise is a truncated oval with a vast hole beneath, essentially its mouth, and an outer skin that feels like fabric. Its abilities include aerokinesis, cloud formation and movement, shape-shifting, UFO jellyfish hybrid, superspeed, able to break the sound barrier in 9.3 seconds, electromagnetic interference that shuts off electronics within about 400 meters, and predatory eye-based hunting, where anything that looks at it gets sucked in by a tornado-like funnel. Once prey is drawn in, victims are crushed and suffocated in intestine-like organs while inorganic debris is violently regurgitated. In the film, Jean Jacket makes its home above the Haywood Ranch, consuming hikers, horses, and Otis R before targeting OJ, Emerald, and their allies. It kills Jupe, his family, staff, a horse, and audience at Jupiter's claim when they stare at it. Though nearly impenetrable, its downfall comes when it ingests a balloon, causing its own digestive system to explode. While it behaves like a mindless predator rather than a malevolent intellect, it kills to feed, not torment. But it becomes a terrifying force of nature whose existence is emblematic of humanity's obsession with spectacle and recording everything. Tyranid. The Tyranids are an extragalactic, insectoid spacefaring superorganism whose sole purpose is to consume all organic biomass across the galaxy for reproduction and evolution. Entirely biologically engineered, their technology consists of living organisms, from bioships to biomorph weapons, grown and adapted as needed. They travel in vast hive fleets made up of countless biomechanical vessels and creatures, all psychically linked via the hive mind, a collective consciousness that commands and coordinates the swarm. Individual Tyranids have no free will. They are cells within this galactic organism, acting instinctively unless guided by synapse creatures, specialized organisms that maintain group coherence. Originating outside the Milky Way, the hive fleets are drawn toward the Astronomicon's psychic beacon and have invaded starting in 745.M41 with Hive Fleet Behemoth. Later came Kraken, Leviathan, and others. Their invasion process is horrifyingly efficient. They send stealthy bioscouts, e.g. genostealers or lictors, to infiltrate worlds and signal when planets are ripe, then unleash spores to spawn vast armies that strip ecosystems bare in weeks. They consume plants, animals, atmosphere, metals, water, anything organic or mineral through capillary towers and reclamation pools, reducing worlds to lifeless husks within approximately 100 days. They leave behind dormant rearguard organisms like genostealers to delay recolonization, and use psychogravitic bioships called narwhals to traverse interstellar space. Tyranids relentlessly adapt during each invasion, evolving new biomorphs and tactics by assimilating genetic material from prey, making them increasingly dangerous. They cannot be negotiated with or deterred. They are the ultimate existential threat to all life, driven only by hunger, survival, and evolution, leaving naught but death and ruin in their wake.
The Blob. The Blob is a red, gelatinous, amoeba-like extraterrestrial organism that crash lands on Earth in a meteorite in the 1958 film. It first emerges from the meteorite when an old man pokes it with a stick. The creature immediately latches onto his hand and begins dissolving him via a corrosive digestive process. As it consumes flesh, it grows in size and deepens in color, advancing through a small Pennsylvania town, devouring a doctor, a projectionist, patrons in a movie theater, townspeople in a diner, and easily evading conventional weaponry such as bullets and acid, whose effects are quickly absorbed and nullified. Its amorphous form allows it to squeeze through narrow spaces, and as it assimilates victims, it becomes massive and unstoppable. The Blob demonstrates extreme resilience. Weapon fire, chemicals, and even explosives have little or no effect, and its only known weakness is cold. When hit with CO2 fire extinguisher blasts in the diner, it solidifies, permitting the townsfolk to freeze it completely. The creature is finally removed by the U.S. Air Force, which airdrops it into the Arctic, where it remains frozen. Classified as non-sapient, it survives by consuming organic matter, growing and evading traditional defenses, and though freezing halts it, raising temperatures could reanimate it. Its motivations are primal, to consume all living beings in its path. The Blob lacks a proper name or identity beyond the monstrous entity depicted, and while it cannot truly be killed, it can be temporarily neutralized.
Hey everyone, thank you all for watching until the end. I'll be back with more videos, so make sure to like and subscribe.